Hi everyone, this is Veronika and today I have a new project to show you. So we're doing a baby hat in a new pattern that I decided to name 7 Miles. So this is today's project. I'm using 2 colors of the charity collection. So this is 100 meters per 50 grams or 109 yards per 1.8 ounces. It's a lovely wool and I'll show you. So 75% wool, 15% polyamide and 10% polylactic, so it gives it a wonderful softness this way. You will also need a doubled crocheting needle. So the one that I have is a metal one, although feel free to use whichever one you like. So on the one side we have 4 millimeters, so this side, and on the other it's 3.5 millimeters. And I'm working pretty loosely, but you might need a 5 millimeter needle. So I will be using my 4 millimeter one that I have here. But feel free to try it out and see which way you get a nice result you're happy with. So just try it out for yourself and see how well it works. I do work pretty loosely, so you might need a little bit bigger one, but feel free to check it out for yourself and see when you're satisfied. If it's too tense, then you should take a bigger needle. So this hat has about 32 to 33 centimeters of width. This is for an infant. So the half is 16 centimeters times 2, of course. So that's what you need for a newborn hat size. But you can of course just add 2 stitches at a time to make this hat bigger until you get the size that you want for yourself or for someone else or for a child. So I have here 56 stitches and I'll show you how to begin. I'll take the needle out and I'll show you on another color but with less stitches so that we are a little bit faster together, but you will definitely do the same thing when you do it later with the 56 stitches. So this way the project is not going to take forever for me to show you and it's still going to stay super simple even though you're going to increase the number of stitches. So we can start with some chains as always. A little loop first, take the thread through, and one more time. That way I have 2 chains on my needle. This is how I begin most of our crocheting projects. Go once again through the chain and take the thread through. Do a chain into the first loop. Take the thread through both loops on your needle. That's how we finish our first stitch. Then go through the extra chain. We take the thread through and we again do an extra chain. Take the thread through both loops and then again, I'll repeat slowly. Three stitches on here. Let's do one more and that way I'll do 24 total. Six. Well, and you can see that we get a really nice edge. The other one is where we start our stitches when we finish the base of the hat. 18, 23, and the last one, and we have it now. Let's close it into a round. Make sure you don't have any twists, and go through the first stitch and do a slip stitch to connect. Now, as always, we are starting new stitches, and then we will take the other color as the thread that I pull through. Let me fetch it. The blue here. First, let's start with the stitches. Just like we know it with singles, I go through, and this time I leave the thread on my needle. And I keep going like this with all of the stitches that I see. It's really great to do this with singles like this instead of just out of chains. This way we get a much nicer edge, just like on the other piece. Okay, so now that we have enough stitches on here, we can take our thread with our baby hat. It was white, and here it's the petrol blue. So I'll take it and go through, and then I'll go always through 2 loops at a time. So this is always the same, and it's really specific to Tunisian crocheting. And when I have just the 2 loops left, I turn. I never do the whole thing because then I'd have unnecessary tension in here. And then I'll start with the new stitches. And now I'm at the end of this round, so we'll take the thread through. This shouldn't be a problem in this project. Okay, and now we will start the first part of the pattern that you see here, just in different colors. So this is to keep the hat from rolling up. That's always good to know when doing projects where you don't want that. So now we're going through the first stitch. That's this one that's coming out of the slip stitch, and we take the thread through. So just a regular basic stitch. The next one, we go through the back and pull the thread through, then another basic one, and another one reverse back. So you see, when you're doing the reverse stitches, the other color comes to the front, and with the back stitch it goes to the back. And this way we get this lovely effect. The reverse stitches are the ones preventing the rolling up from happening. So we always have to take this thread in our petrol blue through. You'll do this either when your needle gets too full or when you can't reach the round nicely. Last was a basic stitch, so we do a reverse one now. And again repeat, basic and reverse. One after the other. Reverse was last, and I'll take the thread through the other thread. And when I have 2 loops left, I turn. So we stopped with a reverse stitch, so the next one is the basic stitch, and we again get back to repeating our 2 stitches. Okay, the round is done. The edge is here and the beginning thread, and then I'll continue. Out of basic stitches, we do new basic stitches, and out of reverse stitches, again, a new reverse one. So this is the second round to prevent turning. With the baby hat, I did 3 such rows total, but that's completely up to you. I'll do 2 this time so that we are a bit faster. Okay, we stopped with the basic one, so our reverse one is next. And again, I'm just repeating this to get the second row done. And let's finish these stitches with our petrol thread. If you're interested in other Tunisian crocheting videos, feel free to check out my channel. I have a whole lot uploaded on that, as well as regular crocheting and knitting projects. So if you're interested in seeing different projects, feel free to check it out. Okay, so we have 2 rows in this manner, 2 rounds actually, And for the baby hat, I did 3, but you know how to do that now. So we can continue with the next section of our work, which is the section I call 7 miles. So this is a new pattern that I developed. Nevertheless, it's great for beginners as well, so don't be intimidated by the name. I'll show you on the baby hat, the diagonal effect. Super simple. So we do a yarn over. With knitting, you do the yarn over this way. And now we do it the other way around, so from the bottom. And into the next 2 we go through a basic one and a reverse one, and take the thread through and repeat. Yarn over through both and take the thread through. And now we again have to finish our stitches with the other color, just like before. As always, through 2 loops at a time. And then we continue, yarn over and through 2 stitches at a time, and repeat. And finish the stitches on the needle. So this back row is always the relaxed row, as I like to call it, always super easy and relaxed. Okay, so our round is done. You can always see it by the beginning thread, but feel free to mark if you find that easier. Okay, so now we are going through this one and the following stitch as well. Before that, of course, yarn over the needle and then through both. And again. So just take your time so that you don't accidentally skip any stitches, always 2 at a time. And you see the diagonal effect, or it's going to be a diagonal effect in a couple of rows. And again, yarn over into the previous yarn over and the stitch we go through, and then again. Not that much different from the last row. And this is it. So this is all you keep doing until you get to the section where you want to narrow it down. So basically reduce some stitches so that you can finish your hat. Now starts row 3 in the same manner. Just make sure you never forget a yarn over before you do the 2 stitches together. And here is our pattern, so you can see on my other piece. I'll show you. "10 centimeters since the beginning," and that's where I'll start reducing. And for that, stay tuned for part 2.